Oh boy, we got a lot to cover for today. Welcome to today's kind of very special video. As you can tell by the title of the video, listed below, we got another impeachment bill to talk about. And it's probably it's definitely the first one since last year, around this time actually, that we've seen an impeachment bill against the President of the United States that has more than, 2 or 3 articles. This one has a grand total of, let's see if I can do it, remember the backwards of it, 13. Yeah, 13, which is, that's definitely the most since a long time. So this impeachment resolution is known as H.Res 1155. It was submitted on April 6th of 2026 by Congressman John Larson of Connecticut. He is a Democrat from the 1st District of Connecticut. And just a little background on him. He has been in office since 1999. So we're going to be reading this, and I'm going to be kind of breaking each little section into, into the different articles. And this is my intro, then just a little bit before, like always, and then all 13 articles, and then my conclusions, so that way I don't do one full long video because my phone won't allow it. So breaking into the parts is probably the best way to do it. So, with that out of the way, if you'd like to follow along, a link of the resolution will be down in the description below. You can check it out and read it for yourself or follow along as you so wish. And without that being said, let us begin. Resolution: impeaching Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, for high crimes and misdemeanors. Whereas the following articles of impeachment were drafted by consumer advocate, lawyer, and author Ralph Nader in collaboration with constitutional scholar and lawyer Bruce Fein. Whereas this resolution is an important record to engage in conversation about our Constitution and the state of our government. Whereas it is not in order under the House Rules and Manual, Section 370, to reference wrongdoing by the President on the House floor. Now therefore, be it resolved that Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, is impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, and that the following articles of impeachment be exhibited to the Senate. Articles of impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives of the United States of America, in the name of itself and of the people of the United States of America, against Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, and maintenance and support of its impeachment against him for high crimes and misdemeanors, and violation of his constitutional oath of office to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Alright, just as a side note, I'll have the articles put up on screen so you can kind of see where exactly we're at in the video. Article 1, War Power, Murder, Piracy. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution against the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has usurped the congressional war power enshrined in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 of the Constitution by, among other things, 1. Initiating war and murdering scores of punitive but unproved drug traffickers in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. 2. Committing war crimes in violation of the War Crimes Act of 1996. 3. Blockading Venezuela. And 4. Committing piracy on the high seas and coastal waters by theft of Venezuelan oil. Mr. Trump has unconstitutionally initiated war as a belligerent or co-belligerent against Iran, Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, Nigeria, and Gaza. He has threatened military force against Panama, Colombia, Cuba, and Greenland. In all of these endeavors, President Trump has acted without constitutionally required congressional authorization. In so acting, President Trump has articulated no limiting principle that would prevent him from declaring anyone, including United States citizens, or any country or non-state actor an enemy of the United States and killing or destroying them by military force. His criminal lawlessness has invited blowback against the United States and its citizens, risking 9/11 2.0. President Trump proclaimed on March 5, 2025, that we are just getting started and replacing the Constitution with presidential tyranny. Through his serial usurpation of the congressional war power and commission of murder, war crimes, and piracy, Donald J. Trump has acted contrary to his trust as president and subversive of constitutional government, to the great prejudice of law, liberty, and justice, and to the manifest injury of the people of the United States. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Article 2. Militarization of domestic law enforcement. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duties to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has illegally declared national emergencies and summoned the National Guard in Los Angeles, Chicago, Portland, Washington, D.C., and elsewhere, falsely claiming under Section 12406 of the Title 10 United States Code that regular forces are unable to execute the laws of the United States. President Trump's militarization of domestic law enforcement has calculated to cow and intimidate citizens of the United States from peaceful protests against the rampant illegalities and cruel policies of the Trump administration, fully protected by the First Amendment. Through these actions, Donald J. Trump has acted contrary to his trust as president and subversive of constitutional government, to the great prejudice of law, liberty, and justice, and to manifest injury of the people of the United States. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Article 3. Serial unconstitutional detentions and deportations. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has illegally detained, deported, or attempted to deport citizens or immigrants based significantly on race, or ethnicity, or political opposition to Mr. Trump, protected by the First Amendment to the Constitution. These rampant illegalities have terrified immigrant communities, citizens, and green card holders in the hundreds of thousands or millions, including Haitians, Somalians, and Venezuelans, legally in the United States. Mr. Trump has resorted to vile epithets like garbage to dehumanize and encourage hatred or violence against them. Among other things, President Trump has deported individuals to a cruel dungeon in El Salvador, featuring torture in violation of constitutional due process and court orders. He illegally invoked the Alien Enemies Act to flout due process on the patently false prejudice that Venezuela has initiated war against the United States, as the U.S. Supreme Court held in AARP v. Trump 605 U.S. _ May 16th, 2025. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Article 4. Retaliation against constitutionally protected speech or association. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has suppressed or retaliated against constitutionally protected speech opposed to Mr. Trump's policies. On January 20th, 2025, President Donald J. Trump issued an executive order entitled Restoring Freedom of Speech and Ending Federal Censorship, as an Orwellian pretext for suppressing free speech or association Mr. Trump hates or dislikes. President Trump has fired or demoted Federal Bureau of Investigation agents or Department of Justice lawyers who worked on the January 6th insurrection investigation or other federal criminal investigations or prosecutions of Mr. Trump because of punitive political opinions or lack of loyalty to him unrelated to job qualifications or performance. On January 20th, 2025, President Donald J. Trump issued an executive order ending racial indoctrination in K-12 schooling in order to propagandize students into believing Americans are God's new chosen people. The illegal executive order is a dagger at the insurrection of critical thinking, indispensable to an enlightened citizenry capable of self-government. The Supreme Court underscored in Sweezy v. New Hampshire, 354 U.S. 234, 1957, to impose any straitjacket upon the few, on the intellectual leaders in our colleges and universities would imperil the future of our nation. Practically, is that true in the social sciences, where few, if any, principles are accepted as absolutes. Scholarship cannot flourish in an atmosphere of suspicion and distrust. Teachers and students must always remain free to inquire, to study, and to evaluate, to gain new maturity and understanding. Otherwise, our civilization will stagnate and die. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, and removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Sorry for all the goof-ups in that one. Article 5. Abuse of the pardon power, sabotaging the rule of law. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, issued pardons or communications on January 20th, 2025, granting pardons and communications of sentences for certain offenses relating to events at or near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021, to more than 1,500 insurrectionists aiming by force and violence to overturn the presidential election of 2020, including aiming to hang Vice President Mike Pence. The crimes committed before and after January 6, 2021 by individuals who received pardons include child sexual assault, production of child pornography, rape, conspiracy to murder Federal Bureau of Investigation agents, kidnapping, and domestic violence by strangulation. There is a credible risk that President Donald J. Trump will order either officers of the United States or private parties to commit crimes, including assassinations, that will benefit Mr. Trump politically or personally, and promise to pardon them in advance of their homicides. On or about April 12, 2019, the New York Times reported that President Trump personally instructed the Commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Kevin McAleenan, to block asylum seekers, pledging that if McAleenan faced jail time, Mr. Trump would pardon him. President Donald J. Trump has further abused the pardon power by pardoning scores of campaign donors or political supporters who are convicted of financial fraud or drug trafficking on an unprecedented scale, indistinguishable from bribery. Among others, President Trump pardoned the former president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez, serving 45 years in prison for smuggling 400 tons of cocaine into the United States, eager, in his words, to shove the drugs right up the noses of the gringos. That was in quotes. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Amendment 6, or Article 6. Illegally crippling or defunding programs to protect consumers, the needy, workers, and the environment. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has systematically crippled or dismantled agencies or programs to protect consumers, the needy, workers, and the environment, irreparably impairing the health, safety, welfare, and livelihoods of tens of millions of Americans. Among other things, President Trump has indiscriminately fired federal employees and withheld federal funds contrary to federal statutes such as the Impoundment Control Act or the Administrative Procedure Act. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Article 7. Usurpation of the congressional power of the purse. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has refused to spend funds appropriated by Congress, has expended funds not appropriated by Congress, has diverted funds specifically earmarked for one purpose to advance a contrary purpose, and has used private funds for a government purpose, for example, a White House ballroom, unlawfully to circumvent the congressional power of the purchase enshrined in Article 1, Section 9, Clause 7 of the Constitution, the Impoundment Control Act, and the Anti-Deficiency Act, among other things. On January 24th, 2025, President Trump froze spending on grants or loans in violation of the recession or deferral provisions of the Impoundment Control Act and the congressional power of the purse. President Trump has also further diverted at least $500 million from the sale of Venezuelan oil not appropriated by Congress to a Qatari bank to expend for United States operations in Venezuela. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Article 8. Contempt of Congress. Secret government. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has resisted congressional oversight by refusing to disclose information or provide testimony necessary to deter lawlessness and mismanagement, or to decide whether new laws should be enacted or amended, or old laws should be repealed. The tip of the iceberg is Mr. Trump's refusal to share with Congress a video showing the murder of 2 civilians who survived an initial strike against alleged drug traffickers off the coast of Venezuela, and countless Epstein file documents wrongly classified to conceal wrongdoing or prevent political embarrassment. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Article 9. Perverting law enforcement to persecute political opponents and benefit friends. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has stripped lawyers or law firms of security clearances and initiated legally frivolous, retaliatory investigations or prosecutions of political opponents or critics to punish dissent. The targets of Mr. Trump's political investigations or prosecutions include former Federal Bureau of Investigation Director James Comey, New York Attorney General Letitia James, United States Senator Adam Schiff, Democrat of California, Federal Reserve Board of Governors Lisa Cook, and Chairman Jerome Powell, and former Central Intelligence Agency Director John Brennan. Mr. Trump has conversely perverted law enforcement to benefit his political friends, for example, ordering dismissal of the indictment of former New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Article 10. Suspending or dispensing with laws. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be executed. On January 24th, 2025, President Trump illegally discharged at least 17 inspectors general under the Inspectors General Act of 1978 by refusing to provide Congress 30 days notice and a substantive reasoning for the firings. Mr. Trump has issued any limiting principle that would prevent the president from refusing to enforce any law enacted by Congress, thereby making its legislative power a dead letter and rendering the entire United States Code advisory only. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Almost done, guys. Article 11. Flouting Section 1 of the 14th Amendment. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, issued a flagratory unconstitutional executive order on January 20th, 2025, entitled Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship, contrary to Section 1 of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, and the Supreme Court's decision in United States v. 1 Kim Ark 169 U.S. 4649, 1898, stripping a certain category of children born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof their birthright citizenships. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Okay, this is probably the only real sorta lengthy one, but we're still almost done. Article 12. Suspicious national emergency, foreign terrorist organization declarations. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, on January 20th, 2025, issued an executive order entitled Declaring a National Energy Emergency for the specific illicit purpose of evading federal laws governing the production, transmission, or export of energy. There is no credible evidence that the United States confronts a national energy emergency. On January 20th, 2025, President Donald J. Trump issued a proclamation entitled Declaring a National Emergency at the Southern Border of the United States, absurdly characterizing unauthorized immigration of defenseless, unarmed men, women, and children through our border with Mexico as a military invasion under Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution for the illicit purpose of evading immigration laws governing asylum or otherwise, including indefinitely suspending physical entry by any alien, all of whom were unretributably presumed to be invaders, subject to a military response, including extrajudicial killings. On January 20th, 2025, President Donald J. Trump issued an executive order entitled Designating Cartels and Other Organizations as Foreign Terrorist Organizations and specifically designated global terrorists as a pretext to initiating an unconstitutional war against Venezuela and murdering suspected drug traffickers. The drug cartels do not plausibly meet the statutory definition of a foreign terrorist organization in Section 212A.3b of the Immigration and Nationality Act, 8 U.S.C. 1182A.3b. President Donald J. Trump has further listed the Venezuelan government as a foreign terrorist organization. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Alright, last one. Article 13. Domestic and foreign emoluments clauses. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in violation of his constitutional duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has refused to divest himself of any direct or indirect financial interest in a wide array of business ventures intended to exploit his position as president to offer or withhold political favors to encourage patronage of these ventures by Americans or foreigners doing business with the United States to enrich himself or his family, contrary to the prohibitions of the Constitution's domestic and foreign emoluments clauses, Article 1, Section 1, Clause 5, and Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8. In doing so, President Trump has cast doubt on his loyalty to the United States and the rule of law. Donald J. Trump has acted contrary to his trust as president and subversive of constitutional government, to the greatest prejudice of law, liberty, and justice, and to the manifest injury of the people of the United States. Wherefore, by such conduct, Donald J. Trump warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Okay, so that was the latest impeachment resolution against someone of the current administration. So that is impeachment resolution number 5 against the president. Yeah, and from a different member of Congress. So far, only 3 members of the House has introduced at least one impeachment resolution against the president. And they are Sri Thanadar of Michigan's 13, which he had only one from April 28th of last year. Yeah, remember all the 7 articles that he had? We had 3 from Al Green of Texas, from the 9th District. One in May, one in June, and the other in December of last year. And of course, we have the one, we just went over from Connecticut, John Larson, just, last week or so. We had one against the Defense Secretary, which one apparently is supposed to be coming out here soon, but I'm waiting for that to come out, and I will eventually do a video on that. We have one currently active against the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And we technically had 3 more, but 2 were for the Attorney General at the time, and 1 was against the Homeland Security Secretary at the time. So those 3 are now null and void because the incumbents at the time when they were issued, they're both now officially out, either fully replaced or not. So therefore, we are now at 7 that are fully, could be enacted by Congress, but I highly doubt it. And 3 that are null and void. So, that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. And we'll see you in whatever the next video comes out. And we'll see you then.